Tobirama will talk all big and bad, he will threaten you, he will go crazy, but he knows at the end of the day, he will not fuck with Big Brother Hashirama. So did anyone else just genuinely enjoy this episode, like, from start to finish? I felt like this episode, from start to finish, was just goddamn enjoyable as hell. Just seeing the characterization and seeing the interactions between all the Hokages interacting with Sasuke and Orochimaru, seeing everyone's reactions to how these people react, and it just really felt like a goddamn enjoyable episode. It was just really fun and entertaining and at the same time insightful, and a lot of things in this episode just really felt like enjoyable. Now, for starters, this episode definitely displayed Tobirama's bias against the Uchiha. You can see that he pretty much had, not necessarily had it out, but you could definitely see that he really just didn't care for them in particular. And I'm guessing a lot of that has to do with Madara, all the things that he did. He just kind of said, well, you know what? This guy was the king of dirtbags. They're all fucking dirtbags. And a lot of, this episode, and I remember in the manga, and I will say it again, Tobirama's ideals definitely were passed on to people like Danzo. Like, Tobirama, with his bias against them, he created Danzos in this world, and it's unfortunate, but it's the truth, and I will say it here. I said it before, I'll say it again. He created a lot of these ideals. I mean, even putting them in the police force at the edge of the village, just treating them like shit, like, yo, y'all go over there, get the fuck out of our way. He did some fucked up things, and you can clearly see that there was a difference between how Hashirama felt about them and how Tobirama felt about them. Hashirama, at the end of the day, had the final say. If he didn't want some bullshit to go down, Hashirama will tell him, yo, you better fucking stop, put that finger down, put it down! So, it was really interesting to see their relationship, especially how badass Tobirama comes across. He's like, I don't give a fuck, I'll beat your ass. And then the minute Hashirama's like, he's like, oh, alright, I'll stop. So, really interesting to see their relationship, and just to see, like, the gods of Shinobi just there kind of politicking it up. And while we have all this going on, this episode definitely got me thinking more about Orochimaru as well. First of all, he was smart about what he did when he was going to resurrect him. He knew, I can't do this while I'm just in this regular body. That's why he went and got that Zetsu body, probably for some more stuff as well, because, again, he got powered the fuck up by having that Zetsu body, getting them Hashirama DNA cells. But also, when he was doing this, he was kind of thinking, like, they're going to break out of it, so I need to be more stronger. I need to get stronger than what I am right now in order to control them. And you can see that he can control everyone except Hashirama. Hashirama's the only one he can't fuck with. And that goes to show that Orochimaru is a great planner, but at the end of the day, Hashirama is just something you can't predict. That strength, you cannot match it up. And Orochimaru, at the end of the day, if Hashirama wants to go and just, slaughter him right there, he can. But it was just really interesting to see that. Hashirama's not even on that type of thing. Like, he's even telling Tobirama, yo, sit down. You better stop already. And I'd imagine that he had to go through that a lot in life, like telling his little brother, yo, chill out. We need to relax, because Tobirama's just like, you can see he's slightly impulsive. He will just, let's just go fucking kill this motherfucker. And a lot of times you need the voice of reason. You need Hashirama to be there to tell him, yo, stop it. And even getting little things like Hashirama saying, oh, I can't believe that, how is Tsunade the 5th Hokage? That was funny. And it just overall, again, it was just entertaining as hell. I know I've said that like 5, 6, 7 different times or whatever, but it really was. It was just like comedy. Like, you rarely get comedy in Naruto like that nowadays, especially everything's so serious. You got death here, you got, just battles here, Obito here, Madara here. So to actually get some comedy in the midst of all this power, and I guess that just goes to show the comfort level at the end of the day that they're so goddamn strong. It's like, yeah, we can have a second to chill and, make some jokes and crack some jokes or whatever. And another thing that got me thinking about Orochimaru as well is when you get the little flashback with Sasuke asking him, I told you in the past, I had questioned you, why did you attack the village? And you said it was on a whim. And it really just makes you wonder, like, even all this time, we still don't really know at the end of the day what was Orochimaru's true goals with everything. Why did he attack the village? And it always leaves a little bit of mystique with Orochimaru, that you never really fully know what he's up to, what he's planning, what he's thinking, what his goals are. And that always leads me to believe that even now, I still believe within the anime and the manga, Orochimaru can truly be the final villain. I still truly believe that that's a possibility, because Orochimaru is just like, you can never fucking tell what he's up to, what he's thinking, why he did things, why he's doing things, what is he thinking about doing. So I really like that it always leaves that little mystique that he probably will be the final villain. I'm still believing that. And you can see that Itachi definitely had an effect on Sasuke. Prior to his whole, encounter with him and fighting Kabuto, he was straight up, I'm killing everything, I don't give a fuck. Itachi's words and everything he told him, it didn't quite stop his hatred, it didn't quite make him like, I'm done hating, but it made him think a little bit more, and I think that matured him away. It shows some growth in the character that at the very least now, he's questioning things a little bit further. Maybe I should look a little bit deeper into things before I just fully commit to things. And it would have been interesting to see Tobirama just fucking let loose right there where he was about to attack Sasuke. But again, that goes to show that Hashirama was a fair ruler. Tobirama, like, I shudder to think what it would have been like, or what it was like for that matter, when Tobirama didn't have Hashirama to tell him, yo, you're being too biased. Yo, you need to stop this. He was probably just like doing whatever the fuck he wanted. He's not a bad guy. You can see he's not a bad guy. It's that when it comes to certain things that he truly believes in, he feels like best way to do it, get rid of the problem. Just completely cut it off. And you need somebody that's going to tell you sometimes, you know what, maybe you're wrong. And every great leader needs somebody to tell them that. And when he didn't have that, and he has people like Danzo, which is eating everything up, again, it just, Tobirama, in my opinion, he just definitely had some big flaws that even Orochimaru had to call him out on it. Like, yo, a lot of things you said, a lot of things you did, a lot of things you stood for were wrong, and they passed on and they fucked up the shinobi world. I don't think it was quite mentioned in this episode. I know Sasuke said he had conversations with Danzo and Tobi, but I would have loved to see Tobirama's reaction when Sasuke said, oh yeah, your prior student Danzo? Yeah, I fucking killed that bastard. And then we get that ending, which, by the way, I believe Studio Pierrot added in a bit of filler in that fight. Like, they actually extended it, which I always say, if you're gonna do that properly, and they did it. They did it in a fucking epic fight, and you got just Hashirama and Madara. And just getting this backstory is just going to be really enjoyable, because the way they're doing the pacing is like 2 to 3 chapters, bam, you're getting it done, you're getting it sorted, you got a lot of good content, and that's what makes an anime flow nicely, especially long running, when you take a good chunk of material, 2 to 3 chapters, and then do it like that. Because this episode, I believe it did like 2 to 3 chapters, if I remember correctly, and it already went through all the monologuing of just the Hokages chilling, because that was enjoyable for an episode, which it didn't even do that for the entire episode. Imagine having that, you know, for like 3 weeks straight. That would have been horrible. So the way Studio Pierrot is handling this, they're taking the manga and making what was alright really good. And again, I gotta give Studio Pierrot props as far as right now. They can be, you know, funny sometimes with the filler and everything, but right now they're on the mark with what they're doing. Overall, for an episode that was mainly characterization, kind of getting a little bit more of the motives and goals of people and just figuring things out, seeing how people react to one another, I say it was a damn good episode. Very good episode. I'm gonna give this bad boy an 8.5 out of 10. Very good stuff. It just went through all of that stuff, and it's kind of just Sasuke trying to figure out what he should do based on what these people have to say. You can see that Hashirama realizes that Sasuke isn't all the way evil, and he can probably change his mind with what he has to say. I think Hashirama believes, and that's why he's not completely agreeing with Tobirama. He truly believes, I can change this kid and I can put him on the right path. Let me just tell him what he needs to hear. Only thing I can really say is that the animation for this episode wasn't all that great. A lot of times it did kind of look a little bit wonky, and the character model slightly looked off, but other than that, it was just a damn good episode. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this fight between Madara and Hashirama in the flashback, and kind of learning the origins of where everything started between the two of them, because this is just right now a fun ride. Let me know what you thought of the episode, first of all, regarding Tobirama's characterization, how he was hot-headed and didn't give a fuck. What do you think about that? Do you think that Tobirama, his way of being a Hokage and his way of leading, was necessarily a bad thing? To be honest with you, I feel as though he was a good person that had some flaws to him, and those flaws were very ugly and ultimately just fucked shit up. What do you think about Orochimaru? All this mystique to him. Do you think that he has something bigger planned amongst everything? Just overall thoughts of the episode. Did you get a kick out of it? I felt it was just goddamn very enjoyable. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, you can do so as well. That'd be awesome. I'm FNevWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.